All right, so we had a huge quarterback trade go down last night, and this was so important to this Giants NFL draft, Giants NFL free agency. This changes a lot of different moving parts, so let's jump straight into it, man. Geno Smith got traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Las Vegas Raiders. And now, some may be looking at this and saying, how do the Giants get affected with this trade? That makes no sense. Well, listen here. The Raiders have been one of the chess pieces in this whole trading up for the number one spot or potentially even drafting a quarterback in this NFL draft. As we know, we've been talking about the Titans for a long time now. I think the Titans are shopping the number one pick, and it looks like they lost one of their bidders. It looks like they did. They pivoted and traded a third-round pick for Geno Smith, and the connection with the Las Vegas Raiders to these quarterbacks have been from going to trading up for number one to a guy like Cam Ward, but also even linked to a guy like Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders was a big piece in this Las Vegas Raiders, conundrum with Tom Brady being on that side and him having a connection to, Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders himself. It was looking like the Raiders are targeting Shedeur Sanders and looking to make a move to go get him. Looking to make a move to go get up for him. Now, Shedeur Sanders has been trending downwards lately, and this happens every single time when it comes to the draft. I mean, quarterbacks, once upon a time, they'll be boosted up. Another time, you'll see them kind of fall off people's boards. But I still think Shedeur Sanders is one of the top quarterbacks in this class. I think he's the number two quarterback. I'm seeing some people pivot off of him. But overall, when you think about where Shedeur Sanders can land, the Raiders was one of the biggest places. And now you're looking at it, they're probably off that board. I mean, them trading Geno Smith, right? I talked about it on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter. If you don't, go ahead. I talked about bringing Geno Smith to New York, man. I would have loved to see him in New York for a year. When you think about our one-year options and trying to win games this year, I think Geno Smith would have been a good candidate. Not going to cost you too much, and also trading compensation-wise, nothing crazy, even though I will say a third-round pick is pretty valuable. And when I bring up this third-round pick, it's more looking at what the Raiders are going to do in this NFL draft. I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback in this class. I don't see them drafting one. A third-round pick is a starter to our team, right? And obviously, we know they're rebuilding. They got Pete Carroll in the building, but clearly it's more like a retooling. They just upped the contract from Max Crosby. They brought in Geno Smith. So they're pretty much off the board for a Shedeur Sanders or a Cam Ward, in my opinion. And if you think about them trading up from the number one pick, I mean, they just lost an asset that they could have traded, and they're probably going to have to pay Geno Smith. So overall, I mean, this takes them out of the quarterback race, and this is huge. You can say, hey, now the Seahawks are entered into the quarterback race, but they're nowhere near, in my opinion, unless they give up a ransom to go get up to the number one overall pick, and the Titans don't want to fall as far back to where the Seattle Seahawks are picking. So when you think about it for this whole number one pick, I think the Giants found themselves alone to try to be that, top bidder to go get that number one pick. Once again, I mean, some people don't want to trade up to the number one pick, right? We don't want to give up assets. We can sit at 3 and take whatever quarterback falls. But as we're seeing, the land dry up a bit, we can tell that Cam Ward is the number one quarterback in this class. And they're saying there's a big gap between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. So if you stay at 3 and you don't get Cam Ward, I mean, is that really where you want to be? Some people may say, hey, the Titans don't want to pick a quarterback anyways. Call their bluff, and this is what I would do if I'm a GM, right? I don't get paid millions of dollars. I don't get paid millions of dollars to make these decisions. I would call the Titans bluff and say, all right, go ahead and take whoever you want at 1, and then we'll let the Browns take whoever they want at 2, and we'll stick at 3. Honestly, you can't be too mad at that approach, especially considering what the free agency will, set for these teams. I just think the Giants need to get their answer on getting to the number one pick or not pretty soon, because we're a couple days removed from free agency beginning on Monday. And all reports are circulating about Aaron Rodgers. It seems like Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback for the New York Giants this upcoming year, y'all. It really does. So if you look at that standpoint, will they pivot and not get a quarterback this year and try to get a best player available? Because I could see Cam Ward going to the Browns at 2. A lot of people are saying that they're not interested in getting a quarterback, but who knows? I mean, with Cam Ward being the best available quarterback in this draft class, and if he's sitting there at 2, will the Browns pull that trigger? That's something that's going to be answered on draft night. If the Giants don't trade up to number 1, you might see them go a different route, and you can see them taking a Travis Hunter at 3. Now, mock drafts are mock drafts for a reason, but you're seeing the board shake out that way. You're seeing Abdul Carter go 1 to the Titans. The Titans did just meet with Abdul Carter, and who knows if it went well or not. They got rid of one of their pass rushers. They released him, Harold Landry, which is interesting because he was also someone that was circulating in these trade packages. And I'll quote it because I honestly don't know which one's real and which one's not. Twitter is a crazy place, but as we know, some things do come true based off of some information through there. So we'll see what the Giants do ultimately, but this trade was huge for them because I think it takes out one of those teams that was going to take one of those quarterbacks, was going to potentially trade up. The Raiders were a team that's going to trade up for the number one pick. The Jets were looming around, but I think the Jets sitting at 7 is way too far for the Titans. I don't think the Titans want to sit back at 7 and miss out on that premium talent at the top of the draft. Trade with the Giants, trade back, and let the Giants pick the quarterback that they want. Because that's what I don't want them to do. I don't want them to force a quarterback in this class. Reports are saying that they love Shedeur Sanders, but I was on record saying last year J.J. McCarthy was a quarterback they loved apparently as well. So are we too sure? Are we sure that they really love Shedeur Sanders? Are they really high on Shedeur Sanders? That remains to be unseen, man. We're going to be getting a lot of questions answered, especially on Monday. It's looking like Aaron Rodgers is going to be the candidate, and we'll see how long until that deal takes place. But I will be live Monday night going over free agency, any moves that the Giants did make, because I do expect some things to happen. And I'll drop a little free agency video kind of highlighting the picks or players that I do want and I'm interested in. There's a lot of positions that the Giants team needs, but you're going to hear the quarterback position. You're going to hear cornerback. You're going to hear a couple different positions that definitely need to be addressed early in free agency before these guys fly off the board. So I will be going live Monday night. Make sure you guys tune in, jump in on that live stream. It's going to be a good time. And see if we can get any breaking news on the live stream, man. That would be clutch. But I do work in the morning, so I'll be live that night. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.